It wasn't on the school map, but we found it anyway. Locker number 119, isolated, locked, hidden deep in a basement that technically shouldn't even exist anymore. And yet, there it was, physically there, with weight, with smell, with history. We opened it, and in that moment, without realizing it, something opened inside of us too. A door that maybe will never close again. This happened 7 years ago, but it feels like yesterday. My name is Daniel, and what I'm about to tell you isn't some made-up urban legend to scare kids on the internet. It's a real account, or at least, as real as a memory that never leaves your mind. I was in my second year of high school when it all began. I studied at an old Catholic school in the countryside of São Paulo. A massive building with tall arched windows, a constant scent of polished wood, and an eerie silence that crept through the halls after the bell rang. But before we begin, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with me until the end. Because this story, it's the kind that chills your bones. That Friday was hot and heavy with humidity. Our science class got canceled. The teacher was absent, and we were left wandering the school grounds. Me, Lucas, and Mariana, my only two real friends, decided to explore the most avoided place in the entire school, the basement under the old wing. It had been sealed off sometime in the 90s, after what they called an accidental fire. At least, that's what people said. But no one ever explained why students weren't allowed down there anymore, or why even the janitors avoided talking about it. The entrance was hidden behind the gymnasium, concealed by a faded blue tarp. A heavy metal door, no labels, with a loose chain draped across it. The lock looked ancient, and honestly, more for show than security. Lucas, who had light hands and suspiciously fast fingers, crouched down, pulled a hairpin from Mariana's pocket, and had it open in seconds. The door creaked like it had been holding the weight of forgotten years, and as it swung open, the air that came out wasn't just old, it was heavy, as if we were breathing in something decomposing, memories maybe. We descended slowly, with nothing but our phone flashlights and our hearts pounding in our throats. 3 flights of stairs, each step darker, damper, and colder than the last. The smell hit us hard. Mold, rust, and something strangely sweet. Sickly sweet, like meat left too long in a locked drawer. Mariana pulled her shirt up over her nose. Lucas tried to act tough, but I saw his hand shaking. Our lights flickered on grimy walls covered in broken tiles, exposed pipes, and chalk writings from a long-forgotten past. Names, dates, words cracked and split by time. And then we saw it. At the end of the hallway, tucked behind a cracked pillar, stood a metal locker. But not like any other locker we'd ever seen at school. It was wider, older, charred around the edges like it had survived a fire. A thick chain wrapped around its handles, held by a rusted padlock, the kind you only find in abandoned warehouses. But what stopped us cold was the number on the rusted nameplate, 119. Our skin crawled. There was no locker. 119 in the school registry. We checked. The last recorded locker was number 118 up in the chemistry lab. So 119, it shouldn't have been there. But it was. Real. Solid. Silent. Lucas, steady as ever, knelt down again, pulled out his pocket knife. A few metallic clicks, and the padlock dropped to the floor with a dull thud. The chain unwrapped itself slowly, like something being freed. Mariana whispered, "We shouldn't be doing this." And she was right. But by then, the door was already opening. Slow, reluctant, like it didn't want to be touched. And inside, there it was. A dusty blue school backpack, faded 90s cartoon stickers peeling off the front. A worn pencil case, a small pair of sneakers, size 1 in kids, cracked soles, a torn-up binder, and at the very back, black faux leather diary, initials RS engraved on the cover by hand. We picked it up. Mariana gently brushed away the dust, like she could feel that this wasn't just paper, and we began to read. The first page was dated March 1997. The handwriting was small, feminine, and slightly shaky. Today, the priest called me into his office again. He told me to stop going down the basement corridor. He said it was dangerous, but I don't get it. Locker 119 calls to me when I pass it. It feels like it breathes, like it listens to me. Each page got darker. The girl, Renata Silva, described voices whispering her name whenever she passed by the locker. Nightmares of hands reaching out from the walls, figures that only appeared in reflections, and worst of all, she said she could hear a girl crying inside the locker, always at night, always at the same time. Renata started writing daily, but her sanity began to crack. The writing turned crooked, sentences lost structure, some words were scratched out violently like someone had tried to rip through the page, until finally in October of 1997, it stopped. Her final entry read, "Tonight I'll open it. I need to know why it calls to me. I need to see who's crying inside. If I don't come back, please, someone read this, someone has to know." And that was it. The rest of the diary was blank, just empty, cold pages. Mariana's face had gone pale. Lucas closed the book slowly, like he was touching a corpse, and then the locker slammed shut by itself, with a deep, dry bang. The chain that had fallen off earlier was now somehow wrapped back around the handles. We ran, as fast as we could, as if something was behind us. Maybe something was. After that day, everything changed. Lucas disappeared for 2 whole nights. When he came back, he said he had no idea where he'd been. Mariana had panic attacks and cried for no reason. And me? I started hearing things. In my room, in the bathroom. Always the same whisper. "You're next." We threw the diary into the river. Burned the clothes we wore that day. But it didn't matter, whatever it was. Followed us. It settled inside us like a virus. Like a secret begging to be exposed. Months later, we found out that a girl named Renata Silva really had gone missing in 1997. The case was closed, never solved. The only note in the report read, "Last seen on school grounds, Old Wing." The fire? Never officially recorded. And Locker 119 never existed in any of the school's blueprints. But it's still there. Last year, I went back to the school as an alumnus. The old building had been torn down, but in the new corridor built over it, someone had spray painted in red letters on the wall, 119 is still here. And since then, I've been getting messages, anonymous photos of the locker, audio recordings, a voice whispering the same sentence over and over. "You found me. Now open it again." You might think this is just a story, just another made-up tale to scare teenagers. But what if it's not? What if Locker 119 is more than just forgotten steel? What if it's a portal, a calling, a curse? Be careful what you open. Not every door should be unlocked. Not every locker is empty. Do you really believe this is just a story? Are you sure you're alone right now? Drop a comment below. What would you do if you found a locker no one else could see? And hit subscribe if you dare to follow us deeper into the dark.